Hello, and welcome back to Why Such a Fast podcast. Today we have James Fowler with us again, and we're going to be discussing in particular cybersecurity versus information security. James, over to you.
Thanks, Christina. Yeah, it's one of the questions I get asked quite a bit is what the difference between Cyber Essentials and ISO 27001, which are two very different frameworks and certifications that they relate to the cybersecurity and information security management within a business. But there's some quite key differences. So if we just do a little bit of scoping work and housekeeping, Cyber Essentials is the basic cybersecurity certification primarily targeted at SMBs, so small and medium-sized businesses within the UK. It focuses on five essential technical controls that any organisation should have in place to protect them against common online threats. Whereas ISO 27001 is an international standard for information security management systems. So the systems that businesses have in place, and it's all organisations across in industries across the world. So it's a very comprehensive set of requirements for establishing, implementing, maintaining, and continuously improving the information security within an organisation. So the focuses are, from a Cyber Essentials point of view, on those technical controls to mitigate cyber threats. So those five key focus areas are the firewalls, the secure configuration, user access controls, malware protection, and patch management. And they're very, very important from a Cyber Essentials point of view. ISO 27001 is a much broader approach because it's not just the technical measures. It's also the procedural aspects of the information security. So it addresses the risk management, the policies, the procedures, the training, the asset management, the supplier relationships, and lots more parts of that.
And also and then there's the ISO 27001, if you are a large organization, for example, you can choose just to implement it in one department. It doesn't have to be for the whole organization. It can be focused into just one department, while instead cybersecurity, it covers the entire technical infrastructure of the organization.
Yeah, very true, very true. And Cyber Essentials is very much a scope of the entire business. It doesn't matter whether you want to do a department or not. It does cover the entire business. And Cyber Essentials, with a certification process, Cyber Essentials, there's a self-assessment questionnaire that you do online, and there are apps to help you with that, and also to help you maintain it. But it's a one-off. You fill in the questionnaire. You either then pass or fail, and then if you fail, then you can choose to resit it and pay a second time. There is then also Cyber Essentials Plus, which is a bit more stringent because it involves an additional audit, which includes a vulnerability scan and an internal assessment of what you've put in the questionnaire, but also the systems you've got in place. Again, moving on to ISO 27001, it's much more comprehensive and much more rigorous. It takes far longer than the Cyber Essentials ones to do, because they will involve risk assessments. They'll be audited on whether or not they've implemented all the required controls, and there'll be an external certification body that performs the audit to make sure that they're compliant and they've met the standards that are required. So again, ISO 27001 does go through this in a much harder way, looking at those policies and procedures very much so, as well as the technical controls, but much more on those side of things.
And he's also promoting continuous improvement. Yep. So again, in order to get the certificate and to maintain your certification, you have to constantly demonstrate continuous improvement, because it's a key element of all of the standards, really.
Yes, yep. And Cyber Essentials, it's recognised in the UK, and it's really a minimum requirement, especially if you want to work with local government and also with central government as well. And if you're looking to bid on government contracts, it's quite regularly now part of it of either are you Cyber Essentials certified, or are you planning on during this process? Whereas ISO 27001, it's globally recognized standard. It's highly regarded in the business and the government sectors. It shows and demonstrates, both of these actually show a strong commitment to cybersecurity, but ISO 27001 shows a commitment to information security as well. So they're the main differences. Cyber Essentials is far more straightforward for a business to go through. It's kind of your starting point in many ways, because it helps you build those controls so that you've got those ideas of what those technical controls are to then build the policies and procedures off the back of. And it actually tests those technical controls. With ISO 27001, the audit goes through to make sure that you've got them, but it doesn't necessarily test them in the same way as Cyber Essentials Plus.
Yeah.
But to just finally add, Christina, something that I mentioned in a previous podcast, at this point in time, these are fantastic things to do, and they show your commitment as a business to protecting your clients' data and your own data. However, unless you're bidding for government contracts or a contract where you're being asked to provide this, there is no requirement for a business to do it. But what I would say is aligning yourself to any of these standards will help you build a much stronger business.
Yeah, and will also help you with the GDPR. Also, the way I distinguish the cyber versus the information security is that cyber protects you from ransomware and, cyber attack, while instead information security does not.
Yes.
So information security is not technical. It's much more internal to the organization.
Yep. No, fantastic. Yeah, that is exactly right. That's it, Christina. And I know you know quite a bit about this as well, Christina.
You got me there.
Yeah.
My secret has been revealed.
But no, that was something that I really am. Thank you ever so much for the chance to come on and just go through what those differences are, because it is a question that I get asked very regularly, and I think it's important for people to know.
Yes, absolutely. And like you, I agree that cybersecurity, it's something that all organizations should have, regardless of the size. In particularly is very useful or should be looked at by small organizations. Information security is something for perhaps, the large, medium to large organization, because, it requires more resources, it requires more commitment, more money, while instead cyber is something that you can get it done, it's relatively quick to get done, and then it's easy to maintain. And from a GDPR perspective, I would say if you're a small business, cybersecurity is the minimum from a technical security measure that you should have.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for coming again, James. And I'm sure we'll have you again on our podcast.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you, Christina. See you again soon.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.